going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are actually new to the channel, I am your host, as always, Rashid White, and my co-host, my boy, Barrett Burrell.
What's going on, guys? Good afternoon.
All right, so everyone see the title there. The Knicks rightfully didn't pay the cost for Donovan Mitchell. I think I did a couple of video breakdowns on why the Knicks shouldn't actually do that, make that trade with the two small backcourts. And I mean, it would have been a disaster. You would have had all this money being sent out and what would likely actually be a first-round exit. But we do have a new big three here, man, with JALEN Brunson, Julius Randle, and what's his name? Barrett there.
RJ Barrett, yeah.
Barrett.
Yeah.
Barrett, take us off, man. Will this team actually really make some moves in that, man? What do you actually think there, man?
Well, I mean, listen, right now, you look at their cap space going into next season. Right now, all they have right now available is a trade option, a trade exception clause, which is $5.4 million. We don't know, obviously you know how to go about doing that. You just don't know what players are available for that particular trade option. So right now, with you extending Barrett, you now have Brunson and Randle and Barrett underneath the same big three now, with $117 million that went to Julius Randle, and obviously the money, the $120 million extension, the rookie extension you gave RJ Barrett. You don't leave much cap space. So this is pretty much your team moving forward. Now, you also think maybe you could have made a trade with a third team had they got Donovan Mitchell. All right. But we do know that Danny Ainge won a lot of draft picks. He wanted 5 draft picks. Presumably, it would have been Obi Toppin and Evan Fournier, but that never happened. So now we know that Mitchell's on his way to Cleveland in exchange for Sexton and 2 other players. This was the right decision for the Knicks because of the financial concept. You also think this is the right thing because this is a team that the Knicks drafted. This is what we talked about off camera, too. We talked about the Knicks finally deciding, let's pick our players and let's homegrown them, let's raise them, and let's see what we can get from them moving forward as a team. By adding Brunson, now you have a point guard. RJ Barrett is ascending. He's getting better every year. Hopefully, Julius Randle makes better shot selections. He can be a more high percentage player on offense. You know, we know how the team is from top to bottom when you move on. You're talking about Emmanuel Quickly. You're talking about, the Derrick Roses of the world, Obi Toppins, Quentin Grimes. So we have a team. We have a legitimate team now that I think can compete for an Eastern Conference playoff berth. I think this was the right decision for the financial aspect I just explained, as well as the fact that this team is a team that you're putting together with your 2 hands and your Leon Rose. And again, you only have a $5.4 million trade exception available, but if there's a move to be made to add another player, then I would utilize that trade exception to do so.
All right, so my thing is, Barrick, my question to you, man, is
yes,
as always, but basketball is a key thing. Fit. Now, you have 3 players, this big 3 over here, that needs the ball. They're not really, I don't know about JALEN Brunson. I got to look at those numbers in a sense, though. But I know RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, when he was playing for this contract, was shooting almost 38.5% from catch and shoot threes. It seems like that it's a guard-driven league, and when you got JALEN Brunson and RJ Barrett, they actually put more pressure on the defense than your boy Julius Randle can. So how is this actually all going to work out when you have 3 ball-dominant players here?
Well, Julius Randle is going to have to learn how to play off the ball more. He's going to, as far as moving well without the basketball, you usually see Julius Randle spotting up on the wing, spotting up on the 3-point side. He has posted up 23% of the time, but, that's going to have to get better. But RJ Barrett, he's more of a freelancer. He's the kind of guy that will set the picks. He's the kind of guy that will move well without the basketball and put pressure on the defense that way, with his ability to score from the outside and dribble, drive the basket, get to the free throw line. Brunson obviously is that same kind of player. He's a gutsy guy. He'll go into the paint. He'll dish and shoot when he has to. That's what you're asking. I don't think it's going to be that difficult for 3 players. Presumably it's going to be ball dominant. I think there'll be a way in which they can find ways to get these guys the basketball in their spots and have a better high percentage shooting concept. The Knicks going to have to get a little bit better on defense. And Thibodeau's going to have to be very, very over his normal capacity of his reputation as a defensive-minded coach. He's going to have to be very creative because we're going to be small in the backcourt this season. But I think there's a way we can get it done.
Well, no. I mean, if you would have had, I mean, what's his name? RJ Barrett's actually a good size in a sense, though. So I like him. Had you had Donovan Mitchell, it would have been a very, very small backcourt. But
well, yeah, it would have been a small backcourt. But I mean, with Brunson back there, you know they're gonna match up and try to put him in positions where he can't defend a taller player. That's pretty much where I'm going with that. It would have been even smaller had we gotten Donovan Mitchell. But then of course you got you do have Mitchell Robinson back there, who I think is going to be a better rim protector. But listen, you got Emmanuel quickly coming off the bench. You got Derrick Rose. You know, you have Obi. You know, you have Grimes. We got a nice little bench, man. We're going to be all right this season.
All right. And now, when you look at the end of this deal over here, I mean, should the Knicks actually give up Grimes? I know that was a big holdup right there.
Well, let's see. Grimes right now would have.
I mean, so like I said, you're getting an all-star caliber player in Donovan Mitchell. Can Grimes actually become an all-star in a sense, though? And would you just be willing to give him up, or to get Donovan Mitchell? When you look at,
I mean, Quentin Grimes, Quentin Grimes, the player the Knicks know is going to get better. I mean, he has a club option available for next season at $2.3 million. So he will come cheap in a sense as far as extending him. Same thing with Obi. I mean, listen, you keep these players. They're not going to cost you much against the cap next season. And they're up-and-coming players who you know can help you out. I think it's a good deal by not giving up a lot of your first-round picks. Remember, you picked Obi, Emmanuel, and Grimes in the first round. These are 3 draft picks you got in the first round who all have shown the potential to get better year after year. No, I think it's a good deal they didn't make the deal for Mitchell. That's my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Especially you can try to develop these guys and not try to make the home run play. I think if they would have gotten Donovan Mitchell, they weren't going to be better than maybe like 6 or 7 teams in the East.
Well, you know what?
That's top heavy right now, man.
Right. That's the whole what if. But you know what? As a Knicks fan and as a sports analyst, when we do this channel, on both ends, I'm happy. For the sports analyst position, I'm happy. It's the fan position, I'm happy. Because if it took this long to possibly come up with a deal, that means there was no deal good enough. Because Danny Ainge was asking for a ransom.
A king's ransom for this. When you actually, back in the medieval days, they would capture kings, and you would have to sacrifice 3 or 4 years revenue to get the king back.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're not. Listen, Leon Rose and them guys, man. They really decided, and of course, it's not just Leon Rose. It came from up top too. It was a complete decision. And from what I'm reading, that this is a decision was to keep what we have and not give up our draft picks. Those draft picks we can use later to pick up another free agent, maybe next season. Who knows, in a trade or whatever the case is,
Absolutely.
So we shall see.
We got to definitely evaluate next year's draft and see how deep it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was actually smart. I mean, that Leon Rose is actually thinking, 3-dimensionally in a sense, though. So, hey, maybe it's a particular player who they actually see that can actually fall into the spot.
Yeah.
You think they'll actually finish that? And we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, listen, we had this conversation off camera. I would say, yeah, finally we got somebody that's, at least giving a better idea of what's going on moving forward. So I like where the direction the Knicks are going. Knicks fans got to be patient, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Yep. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. We'll wrap the video up. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share this video. When you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.